This success journey of risk management professional Waqas is very interesting. The reason being, as soon as his application got approved, he said, I want to give exam. Now, this is a very interesting point. The day is 2 or 3 days before Eid, right, Gulzar? 2 or 3 days
Yes, sir.
before Eid, and his application just got approved. And now we have a system like step one, step two, step three, mock this. And once you get a good score from that, then you can give the exam. I said, no, he's not giving. So he said, sir, he has some commitment for 2, 3 weeks after that. So he want to give exam and he want to give in home. So both are things that are out of my control limits. I don't I don't like unless it is extreme compulsory to give exam in home, unless it is extreme compulsory and without going to the proper mocks. I said no. But he said, sir, I want to take the risk. So Gulzar said, sir, he said he wanted to take the risk. I said, he's gonna pass. He's certified PMP. I know him very well. But I don't
Right.
want to take any chances. However, the guy went there, he did the exam, and I'm really very proud because you proved me wrong and you cleared the exam, and I'm really happy. So, Vikas, why don't you share your journey in your own way?
Okay, thank you so much, Amir, for a nice introduction. And thank you, Mr. Gulzar, for teaching and guidance. Yeah, so I joined it like around end of, I believe, end of Feb, and I contacted you, and then you referred me to Mr. Gulzar. So I think on the same day or the very next day, we had our first class. And once we were having discussions, so I was a bit reluctant, And so Mr. Gulzar said, okay, you need to read it. And then Mr. Tahir was also with us. He said, okay, you need to read it and we will try to make it a kind of story for the risk management. So, okay, I was like
Mm.
a bit shaky in first couple of slides, let's say. But then it got started interesting. Gulzar was helpful, Tahir was helpful. So we started and I completed the first lecture. But from second lecture, the concepts got more clear. So, and it was looking like that compared to PMP, RMP is quite, not quite, but slightly easy. Or maybe it's like I've already done PMP, so therefore I was thinking that it's easy. Anyhow,
Mm.
we finished our courses. Then there was a break of 7 days, I believe, in our classes due to some other commitments. And then we started mocks. So in the first mock, I got around 65%, the very first mock, and I was devastated. I shared the result with Mr. Gulzar that this is a disaster, and he said, no, it's okay, sometimes you get like 65 and all that. And then I did the root cause for that that mock. But after that I started getting more than 85% in all my, like, in first tries. And with passage of time I was also getting confident, like, okay, I can do it. So then I did all the mocks first time, 6 mocks. Then I do other 2 mocks also first time, and I believe that in all of them I got 80%. And I was sharing the results with Mr. Gulzar, and always, like always, he was like helpful. Whenever I was having some question, he was like telling me at the same time. And as we were speak the same language, so it was also easy to explain some things which maybe will find bit difficult to get it in English. So, and also he was available on call because he's also in Saudi. So with all this, with all the complete package, then came the application time. We got delayed by a couple of days, but by 2nd April, I think we applied it, and on 7th April, I got email from PMI that okay, you are, or I got email, or I just check in PMI that my application is approved. Then I contacted Mr. Gulzar, but at that day he was busy. So, and I believe I texted him, or then we spoke on call that I'm going to book my exam. He said, why you are going to book now? Better try them for a few times. You need to do more these mocks and etc. I said, no, I am confident I can do it, so I have to book. I think then he contacted you and he said, okay, Mr.
Yeah, unless I give,
Ah,
because every mock score he's sharing me, right?
yeah.
So because at the end
Yes,
of the
sir.
day, it's my guarantee. Na. I am sending you to. He's my team member. Na. So he's sending every single mock score. So he said to me, I said, no, the scores are are not relevant. So yeah, please continue.
Yes, so then you called me that okay, why you are in hurry, why you want to give exam? So I explained that okay, I'm feeling confident, but then if I don't give it today or tomorrow, it will be Eid, and then we will waste all this, the mindset and everything. The hard work I made will be like not a waste, but it will get delayed by 2 3 weeks if I don't do it today. So okay, you approved it, Mr. Gulzar approved it. So I booked my exam. Earlier I was looking for center, but I believe there was no booking in the center, there's no slot available. So I said, okay, let's do it online, because earlier also I did it online in Qatar for the PMP. So I did it online, and and then the timing was very interesting. Like it was 5 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m.,
5
3
a.m.
a.m. Yeah, yeah. So it was like
Okay.
complete night. Then it was started at 9 a.m. So I booked at 12:15, and they told me to join 30 minutes before. So I checked my system and everything. So I was ready. Then I gave exam.
12:30
So
a.m., right?
yeah, exam was 12:15 a.m.
Mm.
in the night. So I
Midnight.
was, and like the funny thing is, I was feeling sleepy by that time because there was Ramadan. So normally you sleep like little bit
Mm.
early to do sari
Mhm.
and then all the stuff.
Mm.
So at 12:15, then I mean there was one proctor. He asked me to do this.
Mm.
So I did all the stuff, and
Mm.
then once I started exam, luckily the first part, as you told me to get to take a 10 minutes break after like after 1 hour. So the first part was bit easy, I will say,
Mm.
and which gave me more confidence. Like okay, yes, no, I mean I can do that now. So with the first part, I can say that I got to, let's say, to be minimum like 80% right. So I was feeling confident, like okay, now I can do it. But in the second part, after a break, that was quite challenging and difficult, I will say, because I was thinking that if I give the second part first, so the situation can be
Mm.
different because of the confidence level and all
Mm.
this stuff. But luckily for me, like first part was very good, but second also I was confident by end of the time, like when there was 3 4 questions remaining, like I can do it, I believe I will be passed. So I think I did it in less than 1.5 hour, so it was quite fast, but alhamdulillah, it's done now.
Good. Mm.
Okay. So let's talk about this thing. The first section, second section, how the when you say that exam was difficult in the second section, so was it that you were tired or the length of the questions were more there? So what was the challenge there?
Okay, what I understand is because the first part was so easy, like once you go to the second part it seems difficult. And also I think I was not tired because it was just 1 hour in the exam. So and in the second section, the other thing which you were saying, like the questions were like relatively bigger than the first part, so it was like more what we call it, the content was more than the first
Length.
part. Yeah, it was lengthy questions, let's say. So that was the only reason, but also like they were more like what we call it, conceptual compared
Hmm.
to the first one. In the first
Hmm.
one you can say okay, this is
Hmm.
only applicable for risk register, but in the second part it was looking like that everything is correct
Hmm.
or everything is wrong. So either you have to find the very best answers.
Hmm.
So therefore it seems difficult to me compared to first one.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. This. Okay. Gulzar, please go ahead.
Yes, Waqas, I want to know a few things. First, how many multiple choice answers selection was there? Because in the last two lesson learned journeys, we have come to know that they are asking 5 to 7 questions having more than one answer. They are asking select two choices, select three choices. How many questions were you in your exam?
Yeah, exactly, it was the same also for me. There was roughly 7 8 questions
Hmm.
where they were asking
For
us to,
multiple.
yeah, to take 2 or 3 selections. And this was relatively like new to me, because earlier in PMP there was 1 or 2 questions where you need to like to do only one multiple select, but in this case
Mm.
it was 7 or 8 at minimum. it can be more. I don't know, but there were many.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. How did you manage them? In which technique you have utilized? Words, keyword selection or elimination?
I went with the elimination first, but because out of, let's say, 50% was them was easy, like we can select two or three, two especially.
Right.
But for the other 50%, it was relatively difficult. So I went with the elimination technique first. So then there was, because in three there was five choices, and in two there was four or five. So one and two you can remove it, but still you have to figure out, okay, which one the third to be removed. So then I'll look for, read the keywords. Mainly it was the elimination technique, which I try to use.
Which domain do you think they belong to?
No, I cannot say anything about that
Okay,
because
you, yeah, you are
yeah.
not clear about it. Okay, so let's talk about the most important thing. How many formula questions?
How many
Approximately.
formula? When you say formula questions, it's like numerical questions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was three, four, but they were quite easy. It was like
Mm,
probability into impact. You have to just multiply it. So it was
mm,
not like very complicated or very like because in our mocks which we tried in simulator, it was more like difficult
mm,
compared to the in the exam. Like it was straight multiplication.
mm.
So very straightforward. I mean, you can do it, and anybody can do it, I believe.
And
Okay, good.
how many questions do you think they were related to agile
When
term
we say it's about agile methodology, or because there was one question where it was
not
written like where
methodology,
where it was
like
written
risk
like
spike, attrition
hmm,
zero, these words that you find in the questions answers.
in one of my questions there was a word agile mentioned. So I believe if that is the case, so there was
Okay,
only one
that's
question like
related
that.
to methodology.
Yeah, that was
So
related to
I
methodology.
mean, they did not go in depth into the agile. Okay, one or two questions like this.
Yeah,
Agile, having agile as an option.
yeah.
And how many questions from Monte Carlo?
Monte Carlo.
Monte
Okay,
Carlo.
I will not say Monte Carlo, but related to quantitative techniques, there was three,
Mhm.
four elements where I chose like sensitivity, Monte Carlo, and also I think Ishikawa. Ishikawa was also there. These techniques where I need to to select them. Mainly, there was a couple of questions
Do
where I
you?
chose sensitivity, but also yeah, Monte Carlo,
I
because
also
they were asking for to do different simulations, etc. etc. There was also questions about Monte Carlo. Yes.
there were also questions. Okay, because
Yeah.
in the last two students they have reported that sensitivity analysis questions are more than Monte Carlo in the real exam.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can
and
say that. Yeah.
that's the same case here. Okay, what about the direct questions asking for tools and techniques, inputs, outputs, or key success factors related to memory?
Yeah. So I can say that my first part was more like direct, where you know that this is the answer. So it was like there was no concept, or there was no like they
Less
were not trying to
situation.
frame you yeah, in a situational position. So it was very straightforward that okay, if you have to do like this, so this will be the answer. So even reading the
Memory
question,
based.
sometimes you know the answer. Yeah, and then you go into I mean, into the choices. Yeah, you can find that answer which you thought in your mind is there. Then, as Mr. Ahmed told me
And
that
in that
at
portion,
least do the elimination again. Once you
Yeah,
know the answer, do it again, the elimination. So I was
elimination.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
never
doing
go
it
with your
again.
instinct. Elimination
Yeah,
technique.
yeah.
Okay.
elimination.
Yeah. Okay. Gulzar, anything else?
Yeah, that's the last question from me. That in the first part, which you say that they were asking mostly memory related questions, were there multiple answer selection questions there in the first part, or many were there in the second part?
No, most of
Which
these
part
things
was
came in the second part, because therefore I'm saying that second was more like sort of difficult. First
Mm,
it was lengthy, then it was multiple choices to select, and then it was more situational question compared to the first part. So if like yeah, okay, maybe this is a lesson learned from me. Like sometimes you get the second part first, and then we get confused, because it's not going as per our
Mm.
expectation, the
Mhm.
exam.
Mhm.
And because of that stress and that
Mhm.
uh, due to that we make a mess of
Good.
the easy part also. So we
Mhm.
need to be careful that okay, sometimes the first will be busy, sometimes the second will be busy. So it will be managed at the end if you have studied for 2 months or 1.5 months or 3 months,
Mhm.
and Mr. Gulzar or Mr. Amir has approved it, so you can do it.
Okay. Thank you very much for all this thing. Now, I'm going to ask you a very important thing. If, let's say, you have to start this journey, how you could have improved it yourself? What advice you would give it to younger self? All you did it in almost 1 month or so, but what could also be improved further?
Yeah, in terms of improvement, the first thing is like okay, so it's actually it's a difficult question. Okay. The content provided by Mr. Gulzar, the presentation, we need to first we do in the lectures, then we need to read them at least 2 times. Just a thorough reading, like not to go in bog down into details, but just go through them, and then do the mocks as much as possible with root cause analysis. Because the simulator was very good, so we have to do it more. Because if you have done it 2 3 times, then maybe my result would have been much better compared to what I've done this time. So I will say that once you do the mock, do the root cause analysis, go to next mock and try them multiple times. So that's what I would have done different. I've done the same, but it will be like I would have loved to do it more
Hmm.
instead of one time, maybe 2 3 4 times.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mos Waqas. Thank you very much, Gulzar, for joining. And I wish you best of luck to both of you. And thank you, Gulzar, to making sure the 100% success record remains
Thank
same for
you.
RMP.